It's the People Station V103, the ATL's #1 for hip-hop and R&B. I am super excited because I am about to interview an old friend who has taken a musical journey that has actually blown my mind. And I'm a little bit upset because I didn't know that it was this good until actually our vice president and general manager put it into my hands and said, this is an interview you have to do. When I looked down, I was like, I used some big words that I shouldn't say on the radio. I was like, wait a minute, I know her. So let's introduce her. Alexandra Jackson, Legacy and Alchemy is the album. Good to see you.
So nice to be here with you, sir. I am well. How are you?
Good. So the story is, honestly, truly, I'm in my general manager and vice president's office, Rick Caffey. And Rick was like, Frank, I got an album you have to listen to. And he said, take this number down and call this guy because you're going to interview. When I saw your name, I was like, wait a minute. Are you serious? I couldn't believe it. I'm a lover of Brazilian music, just to let you know.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this now.
So anyway, and especially jazz. I love jazz. Mm-hmm. And when I listened to your album, the fusion of which you infuse like this world music and jazz and bossa nova together was incredible. So before we start, okay, so everybody has to understand here for a second. All right, it's not that she's just a jazz artist. She comes from an incredible lineage of people. Your mother and your father are Atlanta icons and leaders. And right now, our airport bears your father's name.
Yes, it does. The jazz part.
Wow.
Yes, it was changed less than 2 years after he passed.
Yeah.
So it's been over 10 years now that it's been Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And now his daughter is this world-renowned artist.
Oh, you're
like
so
nobody
sweet.
would have even really known. Like I saw the documentary about your dad and whatnot, and I know, but I didn't know until I heard this album.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you. Because I grew up listening to you in the car, going home, stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Frank Ski. 6 o'clock, time for Frank Ski to rock.
Okay, all right. 6 a.m. though, okay? All right. So how did you get into the music part?
Well, music was really a big part of my family in general. I don't know if you know this, but my father was a great singer.
I didn't know that.
Gorgeous baritone voice.
Okay.
Sang in the Morehouse Glee Club.
Okay.
My mother has a beautiful voice.
Yep.
Both of their parents, grandparents, everyone sings. They whistle. My sister sings. And so music was just a really big part of my growing up.
Okay.
And they were always playing something different. There was Pavarotti, there was opera, there was Nina Simone, there was Phoebe Snow, there was Earth, Wind and Fire, which was a really, really favorite group of mine, all the way to like the Miles Davis and the Bossa Nova. So it was a huge cluster of music. And I ended up just going to school to University of Miami and studied jazz performance there. And now we are talking about Brazilian music, bossa nova, jazz, all mixed into a two-disc.
Okay, I understand like the background and the jazz part, but most jazz artists aren't just gonna jump to South America and start singing bossa nova. How did that happen?
Well, I always give credit to my sister Valerie Amanda because growing up, she was really big into world music.
Okay.
So she always would get those compilations at like Borders and Barnes and Noble and everything. Exactly. Yeah. And it always had the artwork on the front and it was like, the best of South America or China or France. She was always listening to that stuff. And that was really how I started hearing these other languages and these other sounds.
Okay.
And when I went to Miami for school, there's a huge Latin population down there, Brazilian population. I sang in those ensembles. I made Brazilian friends. I was eating Brazilian food, which is phenomenal. By the way.
Yes, it is. All right.
and I really just started appreciating the culture and the people and the sound of Portuguese. And so I started to gravitate towards bossa nova because a lot of people think that, especially in America, bossa nova is considered jazz. I mean, they're kind of under the same umbrella. Yeah. So it wasn't until I got older that I realized, this is its own culture, its own music from a completely different country. And that just really fascinated me. And so this project, Legacy and Alchemy, has been almost 4 years in the works. There was a lot of Portuguese, coaching, and there's over 120 musicians who have touched this project. It's quite the monster, and Brazil is a foundation of it.
So I can understand that the album would take you 3 years. So I'll take you back. So we were planning to do a radio station trip to Rio. And before we went, I went with my vice president and general manager and the program director at the time, and we went and we toured Brazil, the Rio de Janeiro area. And after we had done one of our trips there, I stayed back a couple days because I wanted to go to a football game, soccer game. And I met some friends that I had met there, one of them driver and his cousin, and they took me out to this small Bossa Nova jazz club on Ipanema Beach. And I fell in love all over again with the music. But the difference that I've realized in listening to both of the musics is that American jazz kind of gives a feeling of the time when the music was out, right? And Brazilian jazz kind of gives a passion about the people and what the people are going through. So it is a little bit different in their approaches. And when you hear songs like Girl from Ipanema, you realize it really is about their culture and them as a people. Where like a lot of our early jazz is built in the struggle. So it is a little bit different. And the way they sing is so romantic. It's so passionate.
And that's how the people are. The Brazilian people are food, that way.
And everything is the same way, right? And that's what I've learned about it.
They take their families seriously, their food seriously, their football seriously. Everything is the biggest, most passionate thing that's happening right now in their lives. And like you said, with jazz, it really talked about and you felt the struggle. John Coltrane, you could feel that in his horn. Miles Davis, you could feel that in his horn. Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Nina Simone especially, their voices, Billie Holiday, the pain, you heard it in their voices. And with Brazilian music, because the people are they put themselves so much into everything they do, their music is more about their neighborhood, their favela, which is for us, it's the ghettos. It's them not having water, but still waking up and happy that they have love. They're very passionate in that sense, and that was something that was really important for me to try to honor with this project, because I'm not Brazilian. I am American. I'm an African American, but the connection that Americans have with Brazilians, especially in the jazz music and bossa nova, is the blackness. It's the Africa, because there are a lot of people who were brought into Brazil as slaves from Africa, just like they were here. And I think that's where people, they don't look at Brazil that way. They look at it as, carnival and,
but
beach and stuff.
People don't realize that really Bahia has the largest African population in the world outside of Africa.
Absolutely.
Even more than the United States. And so I'll tell you this real quick, and then I want to hear some music. So I'm in Bahia, and I forgot what night they do this. Maybe it's a Thursday where everybody gets paid and they come out on the street, and all the different blocks have their little bands and everything, right? And people start just coming up to you, like kissing you. And I was like, oh. This is fun.
I get used to this right here.
Have you done that?
Okay. I've seen, not in Bahia, but that has happened to me in Rio before. And it's just like, oh, everyone's very friendly here.
I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, you could just kiss somebody you don't know. That's kind of cool, Okay, so sing some music for us. Sing some music for us.
Oh, sure. Would you like Portuguese, English?
Yeah, let's do one in Portuguese since we're talking about Brazil.
Sure. Okay. So one of my favorite tracks on here, the story basically is a song called Corcovado, which was originally by Antonio Carlos Jobim, who's considered one of the founding fathers of Bossa Nova. It's probably the most recognizable Bossa Nova song in America. You hear it in malls, you hear it in grocery stores, you hear it everywhere you go. It's the quintessential Bossa Nova. There's a very famous singer named Ivan Lins from Brazil, and he and Miles Davis talked about doing an album together. Miles called him up and said, Ivan, I want to do an album with you. And then unfortunately, Miles passed very shortly afterwards. so when we ended up doing Corcovado, Vince Wilburn, who is Miles Davis's nephew, heard our album, our project, and said, "Take anything of my uncle's, whatever you want."
Oh, really?
Put him on the project. And so we picked his playing from a 1960s recording of playing Corcovado, which in English we call it Quiet Nights and Quiet Stars. And so we asked Yvonne, "Would you like to be on this record so you can finally play with Miles?" And he said, "Absolutely." And then the Jobim family said, "Please put our father, Antonio, in the song." And we're like, "Okay, you don't have to tell us twice." So that story is one of my favorites. And there's so many stories on this album, which is why I love it so much. But so Corcovado. So I'll do other Portuguese for you. Cantinho, violão, esse amor, uma canção pra fazer feliz a quem se ama. Muita calma pra pensar e ter tempo pra sonhar. Da janela ver-se o Corcovado Redentor, que lindo.
Wow. Amazing. I'm so proud of you. I don't even know what to do. I'm getting all teary-eyed over here. That's amazing. I know. That's amazing. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And your Portuguese dialect is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you speak Portuguese?
Fala português? No.
No. pouco.
Yeah, pouco.
Right?
Yeah, no. Just the little kids say, "Right."
Right.
No. But that's amazing. So the album, you have all of these people on the album with you. And one of my favorite people, and meeting him was just like a dream come true for me, was the late Al Jarreau. I love Al Jarreau. And when I was a kid growing up in Miami, my father used to go to the jazz concerts in Coconut Grove outside, and Al Jarreau performed one time. So as a little kid, I fell in love with it. And then adult, he came into the radio station one time, and he was like, "Franksky, is that his dialect? Is that German?" And I was like, "Okay." So we had this great friendship and a relationship before he died. And you have a song with Al Jarreau.
I do. That was very shocking for me when it came about, because I grew up absolutely adoring him, loving him. A few years ago, I was in a production with Kenny Leon, one of his True Colors productions, and he actually added in an Al Jarreau song into the play so I could sing it. So I mean, he's always been very important to me. And so when we got this duet together, the song was actually written by another founding father of Bossa Nova, Oscar Castroneves. Phenomenal man, died a few years ago, unfortunately. So he wasn't able to see this version of his song come about. But we knew, when we spoke with his wife, Lorraine, that he would love Al's voice on this. And Al fell in love with the song. And the point of the song is called All One.
Okay.
And the whole thing just talks about how you can be black, white, poor, rich, old man, young woman. We're all the same. We are all one. And that was something that was very important to Al, was universal oneness. And that's something that's very important to me. And that's one of the things that I love about this album, because we're taking all these cultures and putting it together. So right now, All One has been a very good success for us, which I'm very happy about, because it was unfortunately one of his last recordings that we didn't know it was going to turn out that way. So we want to honor him and his work and his vision on this song. So it's a beautiful song.
Sing a piece for me.
Waking to my soul, I find I'm walking above ground, as I'm searching up and down, as it's turning me around. Waking to my soul, I have a yearning to be free. It's gonna listen with me to one heart.
Man, beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So one of the places you recorded on this album was in London. So why London?
So London, there was some recording in London. I did not do my side of that, but that was because of Rod Temperton. And Rod Temperton,
Wow.
for those who know,
Wow. Yeah.
is one of
Okay.
the original founding members
Yeah. That's why Quincy's
of
famous.
Heatwave. Yes, yes. He wrote Thriller.
Yeah.
He wrote Rock With You, which is
Yeah.
my personal
Yeah.
Michael favorite. He did a lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of Quincy Jones, and he is a white man with soul from London. I don't think a lot of people know that. I think they all assume that he was black when they
Yeah.
heard about this guy who's writing all of Michael and Quincy's stuff. And he is a legend, was a legend. Again, he passed away a couple of years ago, very unexpectedly. And we did his 2 last productions for this project. And one of them is called Our Time Now. And he wrote that song with Lionel Richie to honor the Olympics. And so we performed that and recorded it with Saida Garrett and Chris Walker and myself, and Rod was all in the production. And we did that to honor the Rio Olympics. So it's
Okay.
pretty heavy.
I just want, just understand, ladies and gentlemen, all of you folks that dream about making the most incredible album, these are the people you put on your album to make it an incredible album. When you get Rod Temperton, Al Jarreau, all of these classic folks from around the world, that is amazing. Amazing.
I can't take full credit for making that happen. The executive producer, Robert A. Bear, he was the mastermind of bringing everyone together. But Robert, as you, very dear friends, longtime friends with my father, great heart, and he put a lot of his blood, sweat, and tears into this project. So he made sure that Rod was happy.
Okay.
We all made sure Rod was proud of this.
So let me ask you this: when did this album come out?
This album came out just in Brazil. It came out a few months ago.
Okay.
Here it came out about a month ago.
Okay.
And the singles have been out. We have various singles on different genres of radio, which is kind of crazy. We have some in world, some in urban adult contemporary, some in jazz, some in Latin jazz. So that's why when some people ask me, what kind of album is it? It's very difficult to say. You can't just say it's not a jazz album. It's not a Brazilian album. Okay. It's a jazz, Brazilian, fusion, bossa nova, samba album.
Have you done your NPR interview yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. I'm glad. So I just want to let you know that everybody, I beat the NPR interview.
I'm going to tell my mother you said that.
That's right. I just want to let everybody know. Okay. Okay, before you go, I know you're going to be doing a lot of shows, one upcoming here in Atlanta. But can you do the Girl from Ipanema for me? Just a piece of it, because that is like one of my favorites.
Of course. And I'll ask you again, would you like Portuguese or English?
Let's do it in Portuguese, because that's the original.
Okay, and we'll funk it up a little bit for you. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay,
perfect.
okay.
Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça, ela menina que vem e que passa, num doce balanço, caminho do mar. Ei! Moça do corpo dourado do sol de Ipanema, o seu balançado é mais que o poema, e a coisa mais linda que hoje vi passar.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alexandra Jackson. The name of the album is called Legacy and Alchemy. Make sure you pick it up and support this movement. This is really what music is all about. Thank you so much.
That means so much to me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
The People Station, V103.